Shanahan and the Niners?
Skip, I don't think he's necessarily a bad fit. I spent the bulk of my career in this offense, and so I know how this offense should work. And let me give people a little backdrop of the guys that's made this offense. And I'm not saying Jimmy G, but look at these guys. Montana, Young, Elway, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes. Now, obviously, Jimmy G isn't in that category. All of these guys were first ballot Hall of Famers. Mahomes is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But look at Donald McNabb, Jeff Garcia, played very well in this system, went to Pro Bowls, won playoff games. Jimmy G, problem is he can't stay healthy, and he makes dumb decisions, which leads to turnover. That is the problem. And also, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had his greatest season, won the MVP, went to the Super Bowl, and was a bad sack away from possibly winning the Super Bowl, Skip. So this offense, no matter if you can be mobile, if you can move just enough, because the thing with this offense, Skip, is that the quarterback needs to be able to be mobile because they're going to put you on the move a lot. If you look at Mahomes, even Mahomes, they'll roll the pocket, and he's able to get out of harm's way. The problem is with Jimmy G, Skip, is that for whatever reasons, he can't stay healthy. If you look at him in New England, he was supposed to start the first 4 games, and he got hurt.
Lasted 2.
His first year in San Francisco, get ACL. Plays the whole season, they get to the Super Bowl. This year, he's been in and out of the lineups. So it's hard to get consistency calling plays when the guy that you want to call play for, Skip, is in and out of the lineup. So for me, I do believe this was probably his last year in San Francisco. The lion's share of the money that they gave him has already been paid. So they're under no obligation to maintain him. So for me, Skip, all things Matt Ryan might be in play again because Arthur Blank says, Mr. Blank, says that the new coach and the new general manager will determine who stays and who goes. So if Matt Ryan becomes available, he's going to San Francisco. He's going to where he had his most who he had his most success with. So for me, Skip, I just think that Jimmy G he's not a bad fit. It's just that his injuries and his mistake, his ability to be prone to mistake at the most inopportune times. Because that's what cost him last year in the Super Bowl. Those mistakes.
Bingo. Those mistakes are why I never loved Jimmy G, and I've told you that repeatedly on this show. Now back to Steve Young, and back to the man who invented the offense that you thrived in, the great Bill Walsh. I had the privilege and the pleasure of getting to know him very well, Bill Walsh, in my days in the Bay Area. And the conversations I could have with Bill Walsh were so deep, so penetrating about pro football and the essence of it. And Steve Young, when I hear him speak, he reminds me of his coach, Bill Walsh. Because when he spoke about this, whether you believe it or not, or agree with it or not, man, it was potent, it was piercing. And he just flat out, Steve Young just laid it right out on the table for all to see. And he said that he has to find, Kyle has to find a quarterback that he can trust and be expansive with rather than just protect. You can't go into putting a game plan together thinking, I can't do that. I got to protect him. I can do this with him, but I can't do that. Maybe with a Matt Ryan, you just say, all bets are off. I got the whole playbook here.
Skip, it's hard to put a game plan in says if we don't rush for 150 to 200 yards, we can't win.
We can't win. And listen, in my days of covering pro football, I'm not sure I've ever seen a better run game coordinator than Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, no.
Just run game. It's spectacular. It is so creative. I have to sit and watch my offense every Sunday. Here's Zeke, run it up the middle.
He got that from his dad.
He did. From Mike. I know, because it's just, you want to talk about bells and whistles in a good way? You want to talk about smoke and mirrors? It's like, boom.
In every offense, you look at the running game with Denver, you look at Houston, you look at Washington, you look at San Francisco. Now, Bobby Turner, who's a running back coach, who was Mike's first running back coach when he came to 1995. He gets those guys, Skip. You get one cut. All that dance in the backfield, if you notice, the 49ers, it doesn't matter who they put in there. It was the same thing in Denver. We went from from TD to Alandis Gary to Clinton Portis to Mike Anderson. It didn't Tatum Bell. It didn't matter.
True.
You get one cut, you get downhill. That's what they teach in San Francisco. You get one cut, all that dancing and going left and then cutting back. No, we don't dance here. We're going to get you to the line of scrimmage, and then you do the rest.
And if you get Terrell Davis in that, you're going to win a Super Bowl.
You better believe it.
Right?
You better believe, yes.
Okay, so why do I not love Jimmy G? He reminds me too much of the guy you love in Philly. He's got some, you call him walk it to him, I call him give it to him wins. Jimmy G can be a little thick-headed like Carson can be. Just a little, I don't want to go rock-headed, but it's just like all of a sudden you kind of go cross-eyed like Wentz did against my Cowboys the other night. There were 2 or 3 times like, what are you doing?
Right.
Thank you, Carson, but what are you thinking?
Oh, so now he's Jimmy Giveaway, huh?
Well, he's got that gene in him. He's got that, what I call the haywire gene.
He does. He
where
does.
They both have big talent. Carson Wentz he's a big, strapping young man. Jimmy's got strength. He's got a big arm. He is highly capable of lighting you up. And we've seen games like that game he played last year at New Orleans.
Right.
That was big time.
Yes.
Okay, can he sustain that? No, he can't. Wildly inconsistent. And to your point, man, he just keeps getting hurt, and it seems to kind of get worse and worse.
Yes.
Well, that won't work.
No.
Okay.
And the thing is, Skip, with that running game, you got the best tight end in football. Look, you don't have a Julio, but you don't need a Julio.
Yep.
We didn't have the Randy Moss, the best. Ed Rod was plenty good enough to get you to the next level.
Yep.
They have receivers that's plenty good enough to get to the next level. But the mistakes that he makes, Skip, are killers. And I can just, knowing his dad, Mike, I can see the expression on his face. He's like, if we can just protect the ball, we can win games.
Yep.
A bunch of games.
Yep.
But that's his problem. He doesn't protect the ball.
I believe, heart of hearts, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, right here, right now, have one recent regret.
Not getting Tom.
They should have signed Tom Brady for even just 2 years. Just say, Tom, come home. He grew up right in the shadows. He grew up a 49er fan going to Candlestick, which was 15 minutes up the 101 freeway from his house in San Mateo. Loved Joe Montana. It's beautiful. It's like storybook finish.
Right.
Put him into this offense for 2 years, one for sure this year.
Right.
Wouldn't he be a little better? You just have a better shot. That's
with the way they run the ball there?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Did they not? They admitted we seriously considered it, right?
Oh, with the way they can run the football, he would be getting so much protection, Skip, and now you think play action is open in Tampa. Think about how they run the football, Skip. Woo. You talk about guys running scot-free. And with Kittles is every
He might have said to his man Gronk, you know what, we're good. Right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. With Kittle, man. It's just, I just don't know, Skip. I think, but I think Jimmy G would be a welcome sight back in New England. I believe Coach Belichick would take him back in New England.
I don't know about that.
You don't think he would?
I know he texts him congratulations after various games. Bill is nobody's fool, and after he watches this from a distance, do you think he really would buy all in that I can go forward and win a Super Bowl with this guy, as hot and cold as he can be?
What thing is look, I think the thing is you're not going to have to give up anything, because I think they're going to release Jimmy G, Skip. I really do, especially if somebody becomes available, a decent core. Matt Ryan becomes available, Dak's available. Oh, I'm moving on from Jimmy G for one of those guys?
Yep.
Even Dak coming off the injury that he suffered, I'm moving on.
I hear you, okay? Which is why Belichick's having enough problems as it is. Would he want to bet his ranch on Jimmy G going forward for the next 4 or 5 years?
I don't know about next 4 or 5, Skip, but let me tell you what Coach Belichick's going to have. He's going to have the second most cap money to spend next to Indy. Mm-hmm. And the cap possibly is going down. So you're going to be able to get some of these guys on pennies on the dollar. The guys thinking they're going to get $100 million contract. That's not going to happen, Skip. So he's saying I can be a buyer in a situation, and maybe they revisit the situation with Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore's going to raise, Skip. He's not going to want to play 1 year on with, because what they did is that they moved some of the money from next year up to this year. Mm. So actually, next year's contract going to be lower than what he's making this year. He's not going to be happy. Mm-mm. So there's a possibility they revisit that, and maybe they get a draft pick for. Because I don't see a scenario they're going to take less than a second, Skip, for him.
I will be surprised if Belichick would want him back. He gave him away for a 2 out of spite because he got his wrist slapped and told he could not elevate Jimmy G going forward to the starting
Skip,
quarterback.
you know, that's something like you sell a car, you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna be able to buy it back for less than what you sold it for. Well, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. Give out a deal, I'll buy it back.
Unless it's a lemon.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, hold on. How many miles you put on it? Hold on. Nah, I'm good. You don't put too many miles on it.
What if it always has to go back in the shop, though? I mean, if there's injuries involved, not always the case. Guys, Antonio Cromartie joins us next to weigh in on Tom Brady and AB's recently revealed friendship. You know, BFFs. We go there next.